All right, we are live. This time with the Pittsburgh Steelers Tecmo Super Bowl breakdown, and I have my brother here to play me today. How you doing? A real live opponent. All right, so let's get into the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers were 9-7 in 1990 going into this game, so that's what the ratings are based off of. 1991, they went 7-9. So let's take a look at their offensive starters. So Bubby Brister is their starting quarterback. Now, a lot of guys that use the Steelers, they don't necessarily use Bubby Brister, but if I'm using the Steelers, I'm using him for his passing speed. Now, I understand why they would take him out, because his pass control, 25, is not good at all. That's one of the lowest in the game. That 56 accuracy of passing does nothing, and avoid pass block is 38. So, with that passing speed, you'll be able to throw passes that you normally wouldn't be able to complete before a defender gets there with other quarterbacks. So I like to try to use that to my advantage. I'll test a throw out because I know I could get it there to the receiver before the defender comes, and just test my luck with his accuracy, because the pass control, as we know, as I've said in other videos, the pass control actually controls the accuracy of the passing and calculates if they're going to catch the ball or not. And yes, the chat is open, and Rob Woodson was the man, but we're not to the defense yet. I'll look at the chat box after I get through these teams and team breakdown. So Rick Strom is the backup. He does have a better pass control, 38, passing speed, 44. That's actually not too bad. Even though his accuracy of passing low, it doesn't do anything, and his avoid pass blocks the same. Now, both of these quarterbacks have a maximum speed of 13, so they're not mobile. They're just about average for a quarterback. Now, the running back situation for the Steelers, if they had anything to work with at running back, they'd be a lot better off on offense, but they only have 3 guys that are at a 38 maximum speed for their running backs. Merrill Hodges a 38 hit power. And if you notice that 81 ball control, they're another one of these teams, like the Redskins, like the Oilers, that has a bunch of guys at 81 ball control. And with that 81 ball control, you actually fumble the ball less. And the whole offense has that. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, that fits right into how you have to play on offense with them, because you're going to be moving the ball chain to chain down the field. Now, Warren Williams, he's a 38 maximum speed. His hitting power is a little bit lower, but his ball control and receptions is the same as Merrill Hodge. You'll also want to look at Tim Worley when you're playing, because he's also a 38 maximum speed. His receptions are lower, 25, so keep that in mind, because if you throw one to the running back with Bubby Brister, that's only a combined 50 if they're both at average, and you're talking about throwing a pick there. So, but you still want to keep your eye on him, because if his condition goes up, his speed will go up, and he'll be a good running back for you. Richard Bell, also 31, so he's just one notch lower. Receptions isn't good, hitting power isn't good. But his condition could go up too, so take a look at him. The receiving core, Lewis Lips is your best receiver, and he's not fast. 31 maximum speed, that's not good for your fastest receiver. And his 56 reception is pretty good. And then that 81 ball control, 13 hitting power receiver, you can expect that. Now, Derek Hill's the guy at the other side, but you're actually going to replace him because he's slower than Dwight Stone. He's a 25 maximum speed, 44 receptions. And if we go down to Dwight Stone here, he's actually got the same rating and receptions, and he's a little bit faster. Not much, he's still 31 maximum speed, but what can you do? You might as well put in the faster player. Chris Callaway, he's the worst receiver you have, 19 maximum speed, 13 hitting power. He's still got that 81 ball control, and he does have 44 receptions. Your tight end, Eric Green, this is going to be your guy with the best hit power, 63, so not great. You're not going to be doing too much popcorning with him, knocking players around on offense, knocking their defensive players. But he does have the best hitting power, and he's only a 44 receptions as well. Now, Mike Mularkey, he has a 44 hit power, but his speed's lower, and you're not going to really use him for much. So he's going to stay on the bench. Now, the offensive line for the Steelers, I would actually say, is below average. Despite the fact that their center has a 56 hit power, that's not bad. But their guards, both 44 hitting power, Blankenship and Terry Long. What that means is if your opponent has good ends, both left and right ends, they could bust in easily and take down your quarterback. And you don't really want that as your guards, because the left end and the right end line up perfectly with the guards, so those are the guys that will be blocking them. Left tackle's a 50. He can hold his own. And then right tackle is your best offensive lineman, 69 hitting power. That's great. And 44 maximum speed. So 44 maximum speed, that is going to be your kick returner speed, and that's tied for fastest in the game. So the guy you put back there, you're going to put Green back there, your tight end. He's going to be the fastest you got in the game. So your kicker, Gary Anderson, he's above average kicker. His kicking ability is a 63. That's going to be good for about a 70-yard field goal. And his avoid kick block is 50, so he can. It's not too bad. You know, there's a lot worse. And of course, you know, his run speed's up, his rushing power, and maximum speed. The reason it's so high is so you can make tackles on the kickoff, because you can't switch players on defense, and you're by default on the kicker. The punter, 38 kicking ability, 50 avoid kick block. You shouldn't be getting your punts kicked or blocked anyways. Now here's where the Steelers shine. And they are the epitome of an unbalanced team when it comes to their offense versus defense. Their offense is very poor. There's not much to work with there. But their defense is stellar. So Donald Evans, your right end, 44 maximum speed, 50 hitting power. Gerald Williams, really fast for a nose tackle, 50 maximum speed, 56 hitting power. And then that quickness rating doesn't do anything, so don't pay attention to that. And then also your left end, he's one of your more average defenders, but the Steelers don't have any weak defenders. They have maybe 3 average defenders, and everyone else is good, so or excellent. So Keith Willis, 44 maximum speed, 44 hitting power. And then your linebackers, Greg Lloyd is a star linebacker. At the snap of the ball, he starts at that 38 running speed, accelerating at a 50 rushing power, maximum speed 56, and then hitting power 63. So he'll be smashing some people, especially those receivers that have 13 hitting power. He'll just flatten them out. And he's also a decent coverage linebacker, too, with 31 interceptions. And David Little also has that 31 interceptions. He has a 56 maximum speed. Not as good hitting power with 50, but he'll be a good guy to blitz up the middle and use him in coverage. So he's a good guy to have in your arsenal. The other guys on the linebacking core, like I said, 44 maximum speed, 44 hitting power. They're average linebackers, but they're certainly not bad. 19 interceptions. Yes, Greg Lloyd was a damn beast. I can agree with you there. Brian Hinkle, also a 44 max speed, 44 hitting power, 19 interceptions. All right, great secondary coming up. Rod Woodson is the man on defense. Look at these stats. Unbelievable. Snap of the ball, 44 speed, accelerating at 56 rushing power. Then he has 75 maximum speed, 69 hitting power. That's unbelievable for a cornerback. 63 interceptions. You'll be deflecting passes, picking them off. And the 75 quickness looks sexy, but it doesn't do anything. Dwayne Woodruff on the other side, he holds his own with that 56 maximum speed, 56 hitting power, and also 56 interceptions. And then you got Thomas Everett. He's not a bad safety at all. He still has a 50 maximum speed. Hitting power is not up there too much, but he could pick the ball off, 56 interceptions. And then you got Carnell Lake, another strong safety, 56 maximum speed, 50 hitting power. He's got a 50 interceptions, and that snap of the ball starts at 38. And your maximum speed of your kick returner will also be a 56 due to how the game was programmed. So you have a strong punt and kick returner with the Steelers. So you're going to win the game with your defense and special teams and most likely your West Coast offense. So I'm just going to put green there. I already made a kick returner and punt returner. I already made the changes to the receivers. And then let's talk about the team breakdown. You drank Budweiser's with Bubby Brister down in Daytona Beach Spring Break 94. That's great. It sounds like a good time. Carnell Lake, no gloves. All right, so let's get into the matchups. And we're going man versus man this time because I'll be playing versus Matt. And so Steelers, who would I match them up with? They're about a lower. They're about a mid-tier team because of their defense. I kind of consider them just a notch below mid-tier. So who would I match them up with? I think you could match them up with the Dolphins, just because the Dolphins are more one-sided on offense, and you do have the secondary to try to slow down Dan Marino in that passing game, and their running game won't be a threat to you. That being said, the Dolphins will have the advantage because they do have better receivers and a better passing game. Well, you don't have much. And the Dolphins have a defense that can easily stop Pittsburgh's offense. I also see the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Jets as not too bad of a matchup. The Jets, they don't have much on offense. You could certainly shut it down with the Steelers, but they have more than the Steelers on offense. And then the Jets have a few key defenders that you could use in that matchup. If that's called, I wouldn't be surprised. I would probably pick the Steelers in that matchup, even though their offense is worse and their quarterback's worse. But I would go with the Steelers, but that's a matchup you could see picked. You could match them up against the Redskins, although the Redskins, I would say, do have the advantage. But the Redskins aren't crazy powered on offense because their running backs only at a 50 maximum speed, and Mark Rippon has that 44 pass control, which isn't that great. Steelers is the real deal. Holyfield on D. Marino versus Pitt. Yeah, that's a good classic matchup. I would also match them up against Dallas. I consider Dallas about a mid-tier team, but a little notch below. The Steelers can certainly shut down their offense. You probably pick run more in that scenario if you're guessing their plays. But you do have Emmitt Smith, and that he could be the difference maker in that game. Dallas also has a decent defense to stop Pittsburgh. I wouldn't match them up with any team in this division, in their own division. I would match them up against Detroit, although Barry Sanders could be a huge factor in that matchup. And even though the Lions have a poor passing game, it's kind of sneaky good because they have good receivers and they have scrambling quarterbacks. The Minnesota Vikings is a team I would match them up with, although I think the Vikings have the advantage. It's going to be a low-scoring game, a defensive battle. The Steelers' defense is a little bit better than the Vikings, and the Vikings do have a few key offensive weapons, and that's what the match is going to come down to. The Bucs, I would say, are a pretty equal matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would match them up against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has they have a decent offense, 50 maximum speed at quarterback. They have Vinny, who's got some scramblability, so they have the advantage there, and they have one key defender. But Pittsburgh has a huge advantage on defense in that matchup. Another two teams that you could call that I would not call is Denver and San Diego. The reason I would not call either of those teams is because especially San Diego. San Diego's got a pretty solid defense. They have a similar quarterback situation, fast pass speed, poor pass control. But they have a running back at 63 maximum speed, and that's going to make a huge difference. If I was picking either of these two teams, I would match them up against Denver because Denver's D is not quite as good. John Elway, we know he got screwed on the ratings, but he's only a 31 pass control, fast pass speed. But then you got Bobby Humphrey on offense to try to stop, and he's going to make a huge difference. So I wouldn't match him up against either of those teams. And then the Rams, I wouldn't do that either, even though you have the DBs to try to stop Everett and Flipper Anderson. All it takes is a couple lucky JJs to the Rams or covered catches, and that's the ball game because Pittsburgh's going to struggle to score, and I don't like that matchup either. Pittsburgh versus Atlanta, it might be a little bit of a stretch. Atlanta, they have that one superstar on offense, one on defense. You got Bad Moon Rising, Neon Dion on defense. But overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat up the Falcons' offense. So, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one either. So today, we already set up the playbooks. We're going Steelers, and since Matt likes to use the Vikings so much, here he is to use the Vikings.
Yep.
What did you think of all that?
Wow, that was enlightening.
All right, we'll be responding to the chat now during the game. Bears-Steelers. I wouldn't pick a Bears-Steelers matchup because the Bears have the clear advantage on offense just because of Neil Anderson, and their defense is, they have a strong D just like the Steelers. So you're given, even though you have a poor pass game with the Bears, that running game with Neil Anderson is just a huge difference. So I'm going to return because at the last tournament I played in, the Tundra Bowl, I ended up returning a lot anyway. So I'm going to try to get used to returning. Alright, so I got my classic playbook here. And I'm just going to try to methodically move up the field. And there you go. That's the risk you take with Bubby Brister. The best thing to do with Bubby Brister is really just wait for the receivers to stop. But you're going to have to take those chances where you see them. And there's a batted pass, so he's not avoiding that pass block too well. Burrito or sub sandwich? Does Lumberjack Cracks think? What do you think? Burrito or sub sandwich? What would you rather have?
Right now, probably
Burrito. And that didn't go too well.
Sub sandwich just doesn't sound filling right now,
It didn't go too well for me the first possession on offense. So if you're playing in the tournament, that's certainly not what you want to do. And that did happen to me a couple times where I had a punt in my first possession. You really want to come out with a game plan and ready to go. But hey, had my chance on that first play and it didn't work out.
So I went with the new playbook this time. Changed it up a little bit. I got 3 shotgun plays this time.
3 shotgun plays?
I forgot to put Jordan in at return, so I'm doing that right now.
Cool.
Got some nice shotguns. You ready for a little shotgun?
Yeah. Let's go.
I just picked the play.
Oh. You reset it. So with the Steelers on offense, there's a lot of guys you can use or control. Rob Woodson being the number 1. But, Lake's a good option. Another good option in the secondary. You could use Woodruff on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, Anthony Carter, a nice covered catch on Rod Woodson. Not too happy with that. So that's kind of the problem. You know, Steelers, Vikings are going to have a better opportunity to make grabs like that.
How did you know that was coming?
You can read that. You could read the gap in the offensive line. So
It's not a good play.
That run 4 plays picking with the shotgun, that's not a good play to pick. If you're going to pick any play like that, it should be the direct snap to the running back. And there you go. Steelers locking down on defense. That's the other thing that would happen with the Steelers. And I notice right now as we're playing, there's like a little green wave moving through the screen. I haven't seen those on my other streams, so I do apologize about that. Looks like there's a slight connection issue.
There's a little scan line going down the middle.
But
it's an authentic look.
I've seen way, way worse.
No, it's good. You need to see that sometimes to realize, the format of these systems.
Okay.
You don't get that on emulators, huh? You need that. That's original hardware.
Oh, 2 yards ago. Just walking around at the Tundra Bowl, they use the same format as Tecmo Madison. I didn't really see this. Oh, crap. I didn't see this or the Steelers being called too often. They're an acquired taste, but if you master them, it can certainly work out for you. So there, 2 yards to go. Steelers, 4 pass control, Bubby Brister. The better option is just take the 2 yards, scrambling with the quarterback. Joey Browner! So I just watched 30 for 30 short. I caught it on Sunday. I don't know how old it is or anything, but it was Jimmy Johnson talking about how he traded Herschel Walker from the Cowboys to the Vikings, and the Vikings thought they were crazy, but Jimmy Johnson had this master plan, and as history tells us, it certainly worked out for the Cowboys as they became a Super Bowl team. I think about 2 or 3 years later, they won a couple Super Bowls. They were able to stack some draft picks. And Herschel Walker, the Vikings looked like they had a ton of talent, and they were poised to... Ooh, that was a risky pass with Bubby Brister. Poised to win a championship. But it just never worked out for them, unfortunately. And sometimes that works, that bunch of talent on one team doesn't always work out in your favor. Okay, Lewis flips, wide open, best receiver. Diving catch, blows it. Not feeling too good about that. But with the Steelers, you want to take the points when you could get them. Certainly, because you can completely shut down the team with the Steelers defense. Especially a team like the Vikings. You just gotta watch out for those JJs.
How's that day chaser taste?
Is that what we're drinking? Day chaser cider?
Woodchuck day chaser.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the ciders, they're good to have 1 or 2. But after that, you got to be done with them. They got a little bit too much sugar.
You can't handle the sugar.
Oh, missed that tackle initially. So I don't agree with a couple of the run plays that Matt's picked in his offense.
Clearly, the fourth one is not a good one.
Really, the only one that I like to pick in a tournament play is the first play. The other ones can be exploited.
Well, I designed this playbook around throwing up JJs, so...
Well, you might have your opportunities. No way, it's too far. Get that pick. So there you go, Steelers lockdown. Here we go, fast punt returner. Might be the best idea to get out of bounds, but I was moving too slow, couldn't get there anyways. So now we're running the 2-minute drill with Bubby Brister at the helm. And Steelers offense just got to get, well, you don't have to get out of bounds. You have a good ball control. As long as you're not controlling a quarterback. Quarterbacks have reduced ball control. They're all the same. I believe that's true.
I like how you call the 2-minute in this 2-minute drill. Really, a whole quarter is the 2-minute drill in this game.
Well, if you got to adjust the Tecmo time. It's a different time clock, you know. There's real life time and there's Tecmo time. So I don't know, you know, time, space, continuum, Tecmo time. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about now.
No, you're reaching.
It's a reach, but you gotta adjust the Tecmo time. So Tecmo 2 minutes is definitely 2 minutes. Even though it's not 2 minutes real time. So 37 seconds. That's a little bit too much time to try to throw it to JJ, so I'm just going to punt the ball away. And you're probably going to have a shot here. So
I'll show you a shot.
In retrospect, I should have kicked it inbounds to give me a shot at actually getting a... Oh, I thought there might have been some time left on the clock. To get a punt return fumble. Because those do happen. They don't happen all the time, but I've seen enough of them. I've seen them screw over people where you get that punt return and you fumble. And most of the time it's going to be a touchdown. So you were at the Tundra Bowl with me. Oh, you made the catch. On Rod Woodson. So what did you think of the Tundra Bowl? I know you didn't play in it, but you were there. You experienced it all.
I thought it was a good tournament. I enjoyed being there. I think there's good people there. There's good vibes. Wasn't totally impressed with Green Bay as a city. It's basically a football stadium in the middle of a suburb.
Yeah, well, I kind of expected that going in, never being there before, but I could tell you what, the people of Green Bay know how to get a party started.
Yeah, that volleyball.
Blind volleyball at the watering hole.
In costume.
In all different kinds of costumes. Something special that I wasn't expecting.
That was fantastic. People getting drunk at 10 in the morning. They look like they've been out there since like 8.
Yeah, I don't know of anything like that in Chicago. I mean, there's definitely people drinking early, but not doing that kind of stuff.
No.
We used to have a bar in Chicago that had indoor volleyball. It was pretty cool, but I just don't think after a while the gimmick wore off and people weren't going back to it anymore. But there's so many different options here that it's easier for a good concept to go sour. Oh boy, I'm scared of this one. See?
Yeah. Pull it down.
And there you go. That's the fear. I mean, you match up Vikings and Steelers. You're in a lockdown game. He picks a bootleg. He just throws up a... So now I'm motivated to score a touchdown and lock him up the rest of the game.
You know, that's my whole concept for my playbook, is I distract you by running, and then I try to find moments where you've decided that I'm going to run instead of pass, and then I just throw up a uncontested pass.
Well,
that one was contested because of you, but it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, I don't ever worry about your run with the Steelers. Brister getting it there. Because I'm going to shut down that Herschel Walker run game, no problem. I got too much team speed on defense.
Yeah, I haven't been able to do much on the
Oh.
side.
I've had many open receivers this game. Just, Bubby keeps missing them. So I moved Worley in to running back because he's at 44 maximum speed. His condition went up. You definitely want to make that check when you're using the Steelers. Oh, Bubby. Not good. There it is, loose lips. Not much yak for the Steelers.
You didn't want to run off the third quarter right there?
No, I'll leave the time on the clock. You never know when you're going to need those Tecmo seconds. So I hesitated a second there. And the Steelers, they hang on to the ball for me with that 81 ball control. Brister. And there it is. Easy walk-in touchdown. Matt wasn't ready for him.
Wasn't ready.
And I just missed my mouth.
That's impressive.
Too excited about the touchdown. Gary Anderson kicking a boot. One thing I never mentioned on these streams is if you want to kick the ball up or down on the kickoff, you just hold up while you're selecting the power meter status or down, and it will kick the ball that way. So now it's lockdown time. You best believe that Steelers defense is going to get in on those blitzes. Wow, I wasn't expecting this way.
That Tecmo blocker was all over you.
Yeah, so, on that run play, I could have selected a linebacker to try to bust through the line. But since I'm more worried about the pass coverage, I didn't do it. But with the Steelers, a couple of their linebackers have done 31 interceptions. I think I should have probably risked it there. Incomplete. Oh boy. Here we go. Gauge number 2. You just gotta be prepared.
I love it. I love it so much.
We'll see if you love the result of this game. I'm blasting. That's good space for a JH. And Wilson throwing across the field like that. It's not looking too good. See if you could score in this territory. Wow. Got the first. And now it's coming down to it. Big stand coming up. Oh! Wow.
That was a total accident.
I know you weren't trying to throw there. So, this is one of those moments. A minute left of Tecmo time.
You got Bubby as your quarterback.
Bubby is the quarterback. We're probably going to make a change, put in Rick Strum.
Perfect kick.
Perfect kick, even less time. So you want to get the big floater. And Strum's in good, so that's even more helpful. 43 seconds, though, is not too helpful. And I have to score a touchdown on that broken busted play. And I'm not feeling too confident.
Oh, come on.
So I'm going to get one more play here. And it's going to be up to basically what's Matt's offense been all day. It's just JJ's. And there it is. It's a good. Come on. Oh, and that's the ball game.
You said all day, but really that's my lifetime offense. Tecmo.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. The Pittsburgh Steelers Minnesota Vikings matchup. So I did say going in that the Vikings do have the advantage because they have a few key offensive players, and that turned out to be the difference in this one. Yeah, Bubby Brister, 25 pass control, even though he has fast pass speed. You can't necessarily expect him to make those wide open throws. I had my opportunities early in the game and had to settle for a field goal because Bubby Brister wasn't making the throws. And then, Matt had basically his offense consisted of two JJs, one for a touchdown, one that brought him down the field. He did make a few good plays, and then on a broken play where it looks like I was going to get a sack, he wildly threw it to a running back, broke another tackle, and scored a touchdown. And hey, that's a break sometimes. If that happened to me in the tournament, I would be pissed, but since I was talking most of the game, I'm not too mad about it. Although I hate losing this game. So,
especially on stream.
Yeah, don't like doing it on stream. But there you go, Steelers. So, the Vikings got a little bit of that advantage. I would say the ideal matchup for them is probably more along the lines of like the Cowboys. But, hey, it is what it is. So, we're actually halfway through breaking down the teams. And we're actually going to get to the NFC Central, now converted to the NFC North without the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we'll get to talk about my home team, the Chicago Bears. So looking forward to that one. So, Matt, thanks for joining the stream. Good game.
Anytime. I love to play.
And, that will about do it for this one. So, thanks for checking it out if you're on the live stream. If you weren't, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about calling the Steelers in the tournament. And if you agree with my opinions on the matchups. All right, thank you.